So here is our solution to all of that and where we want to go with gear progression, starting with Marching Fire. So we've decided, we asked the team, Roman and me, we said, okay, we have a challenge for you. We want you to fix all of the things we just said, and we want you to be scalable, etc. And I will go through that. And that was their challenge for the year. So we wanted them to keep the current system strength, so that the match outcomes are determined by skill, not gear. We want to have a small gap between low and high level gear as we have today, and maybe even smaller if we could. It must be scalable for us. It must be a system that we can improve and add things onto afterwards. And in the end, not at launch, but in the end, if people like it, if the community likes it, it's something that we should be able to activate on ranked play as well.
To be clear, what we're presenting right now, if it's not
what
clear,
we're presenting right now
comes in Marching
is
Fire.
one of the big new features of Marching Fire.
It's because we had a question, we just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. So K4RIO.
Yes.
Here is your answer.
Yeah, it's like Korea with leet speak.
Maybe it's easier to say it like that.
Yeah.
So that was the challenge. And on top of that, we gave some guidelines. So we wanted that the gameplay impact can be anticipated and adapted to. So if you have the gear, I know in advance what will it mean for the match. So I can counterplay, I can adapt to that, and I have the knowledge of that. That's the first thing. We wanted the gameplay impact to be consistent, so directly linked to the point before. So not have different values and things like that. For us, it shouldn't compromise the art of battle and the fight system and how the game works, but more complement it. Yeah. And in the end, we wanted it to bring meaningful decision to gear building, and even more meaningful than today. It's like I have real choices, and I need to make those choices based on my playstyles, based on maybe my team composition and things like that.
Got it.
So gear stats. In Marching Fire,
I want to prepare everyone. Here comes one of these amazing animations.
Gear stats in Marching Fire are
say goodbye
out, and they will be replaced by perks.
Oh, beautiful.
Those little icons.
Hello, perks.
Hello, perks. So, what are perks?
Oh no, tell me.
There are in-game effects that you can activate when the right gear is combined, and Alicia will go through that.
Yeah.
It's something that is always displayed on your hero, and on other places we'll go through it as well. And maybe Alicia, you wanna go through it?
So one thing that's important for the perks is the effects are passive. They're not gonna have a new input like we have with feats. They'll be activated through other elements of the gameplay. If you go to the next.
Yeah.
Consistent, so no values variations. As we said, we want you to be able to know, okay, they have this perk, so I know what's going to be the effect. That being said, there are some perks that can evolve throughout the gameplay based on renown, for instance. But those are things you can keep track of, and the amount that they increase will always be the same.
Okay.
So I can't equip different gear, and if I activate a certain perk, I'll never make that perk stronger. It always is as it is.
Okay.
Yeah. And synergizes with modes,
Perfect
feats,
word.
perks, and teammates. Yeah. So this is a really, I think, what's new and interesting with perks. As we said, the gear stats, every hero had the same 18 stats. So kind of the same gameplays come out really often.
Yeah.
Whereas here, different heroes have access to different perks. And it will change which feats you choose, depending on which effects you're going to combine. We'll see a bit more some examples of effects in a little bit, but yeah, that's really important to us. We want to create new, interesting combinations.
So maybe you will have different loadouts based on which mod you play, based on which people you play with, or what heroes they pick up, and things like that.
And even with the other perks you have.
Yeah.
And this is also really important. So the perks are a lower power level than what we have with feats. So if you go to the next slide, there's a beautiful example based on our beloved Conqueror. and it's a very scientific graph. The feat level, power level, and versus the perk power level, which is a bit lower than even a level 1 feat. That's what we're aiming for. So what we were really happy about, we had the star players come try out the perks, and what they said to us is it didn't influence the core duel, but it influenced the way that they played the rest of the mode, and that's really the kind of the sweet spot we're aiming for.
It's not a game changer, but it's a nice edge, a nice addition, something you want to play with.
So as we talked about transparency, so perks, as you saw, it's like a cute little icon. So when people have perks activated, you'll be able to see it in the lobby with your teammates. You'll be able to see it in the face-off screen, and in the scoreboard, you'll be able to see which perks people have activated. These screens are work in progress still. The textures aren't necessarily the final
everything is work in progress, but we still wanted to share the whole thing with the community and start the discussion about it. So now let's go on the video.
And this video is what I found, because going through this, I had a number of questions, and then when I finally watched the video, I was like, okay, this is making a lot more sense now. So
first,
pay attention, everybody.
Before I hit play, could you explain what is going on here?
Right. So here you can see the gear, and each gear has different perks on it. In this first screen, all the gear has 2 perks on it. There can be some gear that have 1 perk on it.
Like
and basically, and they give points towards activating the perks. So on the right side in the center there, you can see the list of all the perks available for our beloved Kensei. And you can see in white is Devourer.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to pronounce. And
very metal name, though.
Yeah. And that one gives 15 HP more when you execute. Of course, the values I'm going to say are placeholders, something we're still tuning, but that's where we're at right now. And you can see that they have 40 points on 100 on this gear, so I could actually go get more points if I crafted it.
Yeah, but you don't need to because you reach
I don't need
the amount
to.
of
I have
points
600 points.
To
that's all I need to activate it. If I had 610, it would still do the same thing.
So here, for example, what's going on?
So here, I've selected a second gear, and then the system's telling me, hey, you're going to drop to 560 points. It won't be activated anymore.
If you equip that.
Yeah. But I can see that I'm gaining points for Aegis, another one of our perks with the beautiful shield that glows. And I'll go more into what that does when we see the other perk that we're going to activate as well.
So here in the video, you will try to equip those 2 perks and not equip Devourer anymore.
Yeah, we're going to try to activate the 2 first perks. So you can see if you pause here, one of the feedback you'll see as we're equipping things is the gold bar. Gold is our new upgrade color. So what this allows you to do is see ahead of time what the impact will be if you crafted the gear that you have equipped or selected. So here we can see, okay, I have 460 points in Devourer, but I actually have enough points that if I went and crafted and upgraded the gear that I have equipped, I could reactivate it, but that's not what we want to do. And I can see that for the first perk there, called Shields Up, that one has a little bit of upgrade potential that started coming in.
So here it means that if you upgrade, like on this item and all the items that you have equipped, so not all the items on your inventory, only the items you have equipped, you would be able to push Shield Up to here, but not up to its activation.
And that's really important for us.
So you need to equip something else.
Yeah, and we want to be sure that people understand what they're going to get before they invest their salvage, before they invest their steel into upgrading their gear. Yeah, so we'll keep going.
So here you're looking for the right gear, so the gear that have those icons, the same icons as here, to try to find the ones where you're able to activate the perks.
Because the first 2
perks are on and off. It's something we haven't said, but until you reach the 600 points, you can't activate a perk. Oh, look.
Oh,
here
wow.
you will. So now you know that by equipping that, you're able to activate that one.
And now I see it's in white, it's on, but the first one there, Shields Up, isn't on yet. So if you pause here, we can take a look.
But you can craft up to it.
So we can craft up to it. And the reason I want these 2 perks together is Aegis, the first perk, the shield with a little star in the middle. It's really cool. It gives me a shield when I spawn in the game. Nice. So I start with a 15 HP shield. And Aegis actually increases the amount of shields I get by 20%.
And all shields.
All
so,
shields.
So this one,
this
but
one,
also any other
revenge,
shield coming
boost,
from revenge
certain
boost.
feats.
Yeah. So it's a pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can have Aegis on its own, but it also works really well with shields up.
Nice.
That's synergy we were talking about.
That is synergy.
Yeah, there you go. Use the word.
Check. Synergy.
So then you can see I'm missing like one step.
Just 20 points short of that 600.
Here we go. Last one. And I have this beautiful new animation that tells me it's my final step.
If you
and now they're both activated.
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
One thing to note here, if you pause. So you can see like the little chunks around the circles of the perk icons. Those represent the crafting steps.
Right.
So right now, upgrade steps. Right now with gear stats, you can upgrade 5 times.
It's the little arrow thing.
Yes, the chevrons that go up. And the new gear will have the same amount of upgrades. It'll also have refine. We'll go more into details on that later. And when you have gear that has 2 perks, the steps are randomly divided between both. But you'll always have 5 total.
Cool.
And here it's the advanced view. So we have kind of an advanced view where you can see all the points you can get from each gear piece that you have. So you can really, like, in advance, create your builds, strategize, and know where. So, like, let's say now she wants to equip Devourer back, but she needs to look at, okay, on all those slots, I don't have any Devourers, so those are the ones I need to change and things like that.
Got it.
And you see the amount of points. So here you see that you have 200 out of that. So maybe this one that gives only 100 is something that you can remove to have something else that gives 100 plus Devourer or something like that.
Yeah.
So the big question is, that's cool. System is cool. It sounds cool, but but what happens to your gear that you spent countless time on it, that you've upgraded, that you have different loadouts, whatever. It's you spent a lot of time of your current gear. So what do we do with that current gear?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. So and that was one of the mandate of the team as well, is to come up with a new system. But think about what's the transition from the old to the new system, and how do we do it the best way for the players. So the idea is that everything you have in your inventory, all the items you have in your inventory, after the update, they still matter. You will still use them. We don't wipe them. We don't delete them. You keep them, and they still matter. And on top of that, we keep everything as close as we can. So if you have a specific gear score, so like 27 on a piece of gear, etc.
Made it to max.
After the update or made it to max, after the update it's still to max. So it doesn't go down.
Arrows, now it's little ticks around the circle.
Yeah, it's same steps, same upgrade level, same score level, keep to max. For the refine level, we're evolving the system, so it's different, but it will be done to an equivalent step, and we will explain you how. And same visual. So if I take the example of the Lemia helm of the Valkyrie, this is the Lemia helm today, season 7.
Got 2 levels of upgrade.
Exactly, it's a 27, 2 levels of upgrade. Well, when it will be switched to perks, you can see it's still at 27, still the same visual, still 2 levels of upgrade. So no progression lost.
Yes.
That's the idea. Then how do we move from stats to perks?
We want to make sure that people can start playing as soon as the update goes without having to muck around in their inventory.
Right.
So what we've done is we convert your equipped gear different than we convert the rest of the gear. And so the equipped gear is going to be swapped with perks to guarantee that you have at least 1 perk on, if not 2 at higher rarities. And then the non-equipped gear is going to be randomly assigned with what's possible at that rarity. So if we go a bit more into detail, so the predetermined perks, so for each hero and each rarity, we decide which perks will be on those gears. And if that means if I have all purple gear, all my gears will have the same perk on it, which guarantees I'll have 600 points, which guarantees that I'll have a perk activated, and I can go straight into gameplay.
Great.
So if we take the example of the Lemia helm, if I had it in purple and I had a non-crafted gear, so I would get something that looks like this. And then if I have the Lemia Helm and
Legendary.
at Legendary, well, maybe we'll give you points towards 2 perks.
Right.
And depending how much it's activated, I'll at least have 1 perk, how much it's upgraded, I'll at least have 1 perk activated. I might even start with 2 activated right away.
Very cool. Okay.
And for the non-equipped gear,
Yeah, so...
still defined per hero, still defined per rarity.
Yeah.
This is still true. But then the perks are assigned randomly.
Yeah.
Why? It's to give variety, to give a possibility for the players to play with different builds, maybe change the perks we gave them by default.
In the weeks leading up to Marching Fire, if people want to kind of hoard some of their inventory, when we switch over to Marching Fire, it gives them a lot to kind of sort through and maybe play around with.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
There was no good way to do a conversion of this bundle to that one. It's very obscure. So the best thing we could do was the random.
Cool.
Yeah. So this, for example, the Basset Helm, if you haven't equipped it, could become any of those perks. Because those are the perks that are available at that rarity.
So the beautiful volcano perk.
Yes.
Volcano, not gonna.
So it might not be here at launch.
It might not be here. Sorry.
It is cool.
Sometimes
I like the dice
use
myself.
To do icons.
Yeah.
I like the dice icons that you put there.
The dice are gorgeous.
So what's cool? I see you could have potentially 2 perks at less points, 1 perk with more points. That's cool.
It's basically anything that you could loot at that rarity.
Yeah.
That's something you could get, but you'll have the same visual, and it'll be crafted to match the gear score of everything in your inventory.
Cool.
That's really important too. So it's not only the gear score of what you have equipped; it's all your gear. So if you have crafted, upgraded gear in your inventory, it'll still be there.
Okay. How are we doing, Pascal? Are people getting it? Is it making sense to the audience at home? How do you guys like it?
It's less questions than before.
If you got questions, shout them out.
Last thing about that is how do we do refine?
Right.
And then we go through the question. So the idea with refine is that we go with we have more steps in refine after the update. So we do an equivalent saying if you were refine level 1, before the update, it would become refine level 2 after the update.
You can put the image. We have an example. So you can see on the left, that's the current refine. You've got all the beautiful chevrons and the
this
diamond.
one is not refined yet, but it's refinable.
Exactly.
And what you get is a refinable perk version of that.
Yeah, with 2.
Because you have 2 perks, you have 2 steps of refine.
Exactly.
Instead of 1, which is pretty cool.
Because one thing that's important too is with perks, each one gets upgraded separately if there's 2 on the gear. So you can really choose in which order you want to invest in it. Whereas before you had to pay for the whole gear all the time. So now you get to choose.
Cool. And if it's already maxed out, so if you already did the steps of refine, well, the steps are already done as well.
Okay.
And if it was a refine level 2, well, it's a refine level 4 now, becoming 2 perks. And same thing, if it's done or not done, will be also taken into account.
And if it's done halfway, then you'll have 2 out of 4 that are activated.
So, in summary, perks are replacing gear stats in Marching Fire update.
Wait, what? Just kidding.
Let's go through everything again. Perks are passive in-game effects. Those effects are consistent, they are visible, and they synergize well with game modes, with the hero you pick, with other heroes picked by your teammates, with other feats and things like that. You can create interesting builds. The gear that you equip defines which perk is active. You can activate up to 3 perks. The higher rarity you go, the more choices of perks you can activate. And the current gear you have will be converted to the new perk system without losing any of your current progression.
But that is the end of the video, guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts. I love reading and replying to all your comments down below. And feel free to check out my Discord and Twitter. There is a link down below in the description box for both of those as well. The Discord is a great way for me to talk to you guys outside the YouTube comments section. And of course, the Twitter is a great way for you guys to get a notification whenever a video is being uploaded, because YouTube is a bit weird sometimes. And if you like this video and you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you want to support the channel further, feel free to check out my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box, and a link will pop up at the end of the video. And if you choose to donate, it is greatly appreciated. And a big shout out to my current Patreon patrons whose names you've been seeing in the background. Just wanted to say thank you for your support. It really does mean a lot. And please share this video around, does help me out a fuck ton. And if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.